Okay, good afternoon, boys and girls. It is Monday, 4:43 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday, November 22nd. And I think today's trade merits an update to the report sent yesterday afternoon. And we had today a rather dramatic reversal type of session. If this is the beginning of the big washout, wouldn't be surprised. There's certainly evidence to that effect. This doesn't qualify as a washout, today's trade. Today's trade is a strong precursor to a washout. And it actually sort of cements the idea that dramatically increases the probability that we're going to see some sort of washout, maybe into the Thanksgiving holiday. Who knows? We'll carry in after that. Now, obviously, today's highs are important to that thesis. As a matter of fact, you really should, and what we're looking at on my screen, by the way, are the cash indices. We'll look at the futures also. But these are the cash indices, and you can see a very dramatic reversal off the highs. The Russell in particular, it just continues straight down. The Russell is already off how much here? Let's see, is off 5%, which is, that's a healthy retracement, right? But it can go a whole lot lower. It tends to have a higher percentage moves, similar somewhat to the NQ. Now, the immediate downside levels to watch right here in the NQ, and if we were to, this is the NDX, my apologies. If we were to reach that, it really wouldn't be that dramatic of a decline percentage-wise, but it would be the largest retracement that we've had since the top, in this case, September 7th. And then in the SPX, we're looking over here. And then the Dow is sort of on the edge of the abyss short term here. If we get below, what is this, about 35,462 or so, you're really in an elevator shaft and you don't know where it's going to stop. You're guessing. I don't do the magic number thing. There's really not a lot of volume on the horizontal scale, so I won't even get into that. I'm not going to be excited about any potential low unless I see negative 2,000 in breadth or greater. And I think that's a real possibility. Let's take a look at that particular perspective. This is the chart that I put in the report over the weekend, except you could see further back. I have it expanded so we can see more clearly what's going on here. And you see the 10-day moving average was right about here. We trade a little bit lower today. This is a tipping point, typically a tipping point. Now, early today, I have to be frank with you, I sort of thought, okay, well, that's going to, I said these things can resolve in a bullish manner, and it looked early like this thing was going to curl around and resolve up, and we'd be up, into and through the Friday holiday. As a matter of fact, you can't see my chart, so why don't we show the charts? That's a good idea. Okay, let's start over. Well, since we're here, let's just start here and I'll go back. But this is the 10-day moving average right here. And you can see breadth got down to the level from where especially in a relatively early trend, you're looking for short-term lows. And we did get a short-term low here and it traded to new highs today. Now, as of the close, breadth was negative 386. And that is the fact that it's only negative 386, to me, really opens the door and adds to the probability of the thesis that the market is going to wash out here in the next 2 or 3 days. Now, if the market does indeed continue lower, the level that I'll get very interested in from a price perspective is right here. Now, if we get down to here, and that still wouldn't be any sort of dramatic decline by any stretch of the imagination. That's from where we closed today. Let's see. It's only about, it's only 1%. That's nothing. So we could easily take this out. I'm really interested to see Brett get around negative 2,000. And if it does, this 10-day moving average and the 5-day moving average will reach lower extremes. And that could set up, we could be on the way towards setting up the Santa Claus rally if that occurs. The rally off this October low has just been, it's been manic. So we were due for some sort of two-sided trade. I talked about that early. I talked about that almost 2 weeks ago, and that has certainly occurred in spades. There are a lot of possibilities here. If we get down into this area and we don't see negative 2,000 breadth, it opens up the door for other things. But at this point, I guess my main message is that the washout possibility, the probabilities of the washout, short-term washout this week have increased because of today's trade. Now, let me go back and show you. This is what I was talking about before. So here's the NDX, if the NDX were to trade down to this low extreme, the low on the 10th, it would be about a 5% retracement. That's really nothing. The Russell is back into this balance area range. Now this in my mind, this should hold. This is relatively long way down. I'd be shocked if we didn't get some sort of retracement prior to this level even being reached, frankly. But you can see at this top, and I mentioned this in the report this weekend, all this disparity in terms of price action among the indices is indicative of tops of an intermediate term basis. So this could be a top of larger degree than any that we've seen certainly since September. I think it's going to turn into something more significant than just a 2-3 day wonder, but that remains to be seen. Today validates the idea that we could be having a short-term washout this week. Here's the level in the Dow. I mentioned it before when you couldn't see my screen. I was talking to myself. If we get below here, you're in an elevator shaft. Where this thing stops is just the proverbial wag, wild ass guess. I don't do the magic number thing, so I'm sure there are all sorts of magic numbers in here. And pick one. One's as good as another. And so that's about it, guys. It's almost setting up perfectly because everybody is so leaning on it's got to be bullish, it's holiday week, it's seasonally bullish, etc. But this week also lends itself to volatility like this because it typically is lower volume. I haven't checked the volume today. We'll take a look at it. But the message is the washout scenario outlined in this weekend's report, and everything in that report is still valid, is most certainly in play and being validated. You guys have a great evening.